Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Amusement park. And a bunch of numbers. I don't know what's going on with this bunch of numbers. I really don't. Anyway, this was in response to Oberheim OB-X8's Highway Robbery Roland TR8 foot pedal start mailbag I did in March 2024. And I had quite a couple of comments along this line, but this is kind of a mediocre support. Basically, the OB-X8 is expensive. I wouldn't say highway robbery though, except when you compare to the software clones that come very close and barely cost anything in comparison. The OB-X8 is probably the ultimate reissue of a classic, highly sought after analog synth. Unlike the UB-Xa, it's the real deal. You get the abilities of the OB-X, the OB-Xa and the OB-8, and can even load presets from the original cassettes. It has many more features too. I'd be more likely to buy a UB-Xa due to the huge price difference, but think that the OB-Xa would be better match the sounds of the originals. And you don't need 3 different versions of a keyboard to get all the classic sounds. The build quality of the OB-X8 is also a lot higher. With all the Behringer codes, many people say they don't sound exactly like the originals, but probably close enough for most of us, just like the software clones. Close enough being the operative word. With the excellent VST clones, I'm not really sure I need an OB-X8 or I need a UB-Xa. However, until that became possible, having an OB-X series synth seemed like the ultimate to me. And I'm laughing because I'm just reading my first line of my response. Stand and deliver! I'm the dandy highwayman. Highway robbery. And that happens to be the first and opening line of Adamant's Stand and Deliver song, for those who didn't know. And those who are in America, I don't know whether Adamant actually made it to America, but go look him up on YouTube. If you don't know who Adamant is, Stand and Deliver and Prince Charming were his 2 biggest songs. He had a whole bunch of other stuff as well, but Stand and Deliver and Prince Charming. Anyway, I digress. Personally, I mean, I don't dispute that the Oberheim OB-X8 is a desirable keyboard and would give you all the classic sounds that you kind of refer to. But I have to be honest and say I have bought a Behringer UB-Xa because it does give you many of the original sounds. And funny enough, that is my Behringer UB-Xa. It's migrated out of storage back here into the Hobbit hut, which is Studio A. Anyway, but I bought it because it does give you a lot of those classic rock song tones are already loaded onto this thing. If you go through it, it has 4 banks and they're just 128 tones of bank, I think it is, and it's literally fully loaded, and you can just make new tones to your heart content on this thing. It's really good. All the knobs and faders actually make it very easy to manipulate the synthesizer itself. But until this place went up, I really haven't had an awful lot of time to play with that thing, and we're still I've still got the builders here. I was hoping the builders wouldn't be here this week, but they're still here, so unfortunately I'm probably not going to get an awful lot of chance to play with it for at least another couple of weeks until the builders have finished and everything else is finished and the draws on my time to do other things have gone. Anyway, on the last point that you made, I'm going to sit on the fence regarding the VST option, given that I don't tend to use VSTs. I may get into the point of using VSTs a lot more going forward now that I've got the new setup, but up until now I've not really got on with VSTs, whereas other people I know, like Gary for argument's sake, Deaf Beats, he's virtually exclusively VST based, but he wants to put more hardware into his music because he doesn't want to feel so disconnected potentially, which is what happens with the VST. Well, that's what I think happens with the VST. You get disconnected from the music. I also think with VSTs, and this is where AI is coming in now, and I'm not going to trip into the debate on AI, but I also think with VSTs, you know, and the ability to create electronically, that AI, the more close the VST is, I suppose, the more AI will jump in. And I'm just not sure that is a route I'm really comfortable with. I don't make money from music, right? It's not my source of income. Yes, I make a little bit of money from it, but it's not my source of income. I have a JOB for one of those. You know, JOB stands for just over broke, by the way. Anyway, I have that for making, you know, that's what pays the bills. So music doesn't for me, but for other people it does. And that's the bit I find worrying. But AI is a completely separate topic, and I have done videos on AI. I've watched Rick Beato berate AI in the way it's being used, not necessarily the way it needs to be used. And I'm going to kind of stop there. Next comment or question comes from Jesse Hawkins, and this was in respect to how to set up the Roland PG-100 programmer with your D50 or D550 video I did way back in July 2016. So what's the in on the PG-1000 for, writes Jesse? And that's a very good question I don't really have a good answer to. But in the two configurations that I used, the PG-1000 in, with the Roland D50 or the or even the D05, I do not use the MIDI in, I have to be honest. I have confirmed that it does, as like many other MIDI devices at the same time, in that it takes the in and signals it through to the through, but I'm not quite sure what the in was for. I'm sure there is a use case for using the in, just how I've set it up, I can't think of one.